But I never talked about my ideas and thoughts about death with anyone. At least not in a deep level. Not with my parents or friends. Also, it felt that nobody really, at least openly, admits that they are thinking about that kind of stuff, so. And also I didn't so much feel that I want to talk about them with somebody. But yeah, as I grew up as a teenager, I played football, and I started to have really weird sensation and feeling about the world. I couldn't really explain what that sense and feeling is, but it felt like nothing is real, and it was very depressing also. Just to, if I went to football practice and I heard people talking, saw people playing, I started feeling little depressed and really anxious about the reality that I'm sort of prison in my body, in this body that is so vulnerable and the fact that I'm gonna die, but not only that, kind of also the sense that it doesn't, everything feels so unreal somehow. I couldn't understand what people were, the coaches in the football practice. I heard them talking, I understood the meaning, but it sort of was so unreal. And I saw that the other guys just kept on going normally, and I was just somehow really depressed and anxious about the reality, feeling of reality, of existence. And I think it took actually quite a few years with that feeling. The strongest sensations of them went away in maybe 1 or 2 years, but and even shorter time, the biggest anxiety and the feeling of unreality. But yeah, that sort of set the tone for my whole youth, this kind of anxiety. I would probably call it the existential depression or something like that, beginning of it at least, and some sort of momentum. And as I grew up, I got my first real girlfriend, and yeah, by the way, before that I was as an exchange student for 1 year in the US, in Reno, US, and I think it also had a lot to do, especially to the authenticity of me. It did a lot to go from Finland, and especially my home city Pori, where people are quite, how should I say, quite closed, and they are very mean to each other, like pick on each other and put people down. And especially when you have grown up, and I think I was quite sensitive actually guy too, and that was one of the reasons why I didn't want to talk out loud that much, because when I talk out loud people put me down and it doesn't feel good. But and also I have to be a little bit more tough, and you know, inside I was sensitive. So the year in the US where people are very outspoken and more open, I don't know if they are more open to deep discussions very much, but it did a lot to the courage of say what I feel and do what I feel more. And authenticity is a big part of the path of enlightenment. But yeah, about my first real girlfriend, we were together about 3 years. I was very much in love, and then we broke up. I was in the military academy at that time. We broke up, and that caused me a really big depression, because I was so, my mind was so oriented that we are together and I love her and she loves me, that to losing her was such a big pain. And I was very anxious, very depressed few years. All these enlightenment experiences include some kind of depressive period. So I was awake long nights. It was also very hard in the studying the military academy when we went out to the rehearsals, forests, and wow, a cow is shitting behind me. Hopefully not for my, or maybe it's actually for this nonsense that I'm talking. Yeah, so it was a very hard time. We had rehearsals in the forests, and a lot of stress, long days, and I didn't have really time to adjust to the loss of my girlfriend. So I saw dreams that we are still together, and it was very depressive then to wake up and we are not together. And it also made me and brought me the anxiety of existence again for a very long time. And the biggest thought that really bothered me for a long time was the anxiety from the idea that either we exist eternally or our existence just stops at some point. And for me it was just so depressing thought. It still actually is a thought that makes a small blues tone in my heart and head. But that really strong feeling I had, I also tried to, when I was going out and getting drunk, I tried to sometimes talk with some guy about that kind of thinking. Wow, look at that. She just came to knock my back. I think they have much more wisdom for these subjects than I do. But I'm gonna continue anyway because they don't know the human language. So, where was I? Yeah, I tried to talk, but this guy said that it sounds very depressive and he hasn't thought about that kind of thing ever. And that sort of discouraged me to really discuss.